We've got Brendon Small.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for pronouncing my name properly.
I did it properly?
Yeah, I get Brandon Smalls. I get a lot of it. Doesn't matter.
Wow.
I'll take it. I'll take anything I can get.
Well, shucks. Speaking of taking what we get, what do you got?
Yeah, what's
What do I got?
happening?
What am I doing here? I'm here with Eric Powell and Albatross Comics, and we're announcing the Galacticon comic book trade paperback that's coming out November this year, and we're very excited about that. We did a 6-issue series, and which coincides with a record called Galacticon, and I also put out a record called Galacticon 2 Become the Storm earlier this year, and I put out a short film that is an all practical effects little short film. So practical effects are real tactile effects. So we use real model spaceships, we use real backgrounds. I got an ink tank. Have you guys ever seen old Flash Gordon movies and stuff?
Yeah.
So what they would do, they had these old techniques where they would use ink in aquariums and make them look like clouds. So I learned how to do that with my brother, Jeff Small, who is a really great effects artist. And we put this whole video together. If you want to check it out, you can check it out. Go to galacticon.com. You can check it out there.
What was your inspiration for using practical effects? Were you sort of wanted to go back to that old school sort of practice?
Yes.
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 It was the nostalgia?
Well, the thing is, there are two things that happen. I notice when I watch a movie, I love really great CGI. The Planet of the Apes movies, for me, I lost my mind when I saw that most recent one. I thought that's one of the most gorgeous movies I've ever seen. But I also know if it's not done as well as that, I can check out. I can lose my connection with the thing sometimes. I know that there's some kind of unspoken little deal I have with my entertainment that you've got to kind of exist in some way or be just the greatest version of it. And I notice when things are tactile, when they actually carry volume, when light can shift and pass over. And I'm also coming from 20 years of animation at this point, so I get really excited when I don't have to sit in a room with fluorescent lights and bark down somebody's neck and tell them to fix it. It's really nice to be present and to make this stuff happen on the spot. So for all that stuff, those are all the reasons I'm excited about this stuff. What is
Galacticon about?
Galacticon is the shortest way I can tell you about this is it's a redemption story from a character we're not sure about. It's an intergalactic, high-stakes divorce redemption story. And to me, if I were to combine what this would look like in a live-action full-length feature or TV show or whatever, it would be like Charles Grodin in outer space. And then John Carpenter would direct some, and Elaine May would direct all the comedy. Because I love what she did with The Heartbreak Kid, which is a great old 70s movie. It's one of the best comedies, and it's a character that we're uncertain about. And I'm fascinated with that character. So I was inspired by that whole world, and that's where this comic book idea came from, and the record came from, and all that stuff. So I see a future for this beyond this whole comic book world.
So what kind of stories and genres inspire you for this? Because it seems like there's a lot of cool things mixed into that.
Well, for this whole, here's what I did for this practical effects thing. I went back to the 70s. I went back to post-Star Wars and post-Star Wars movie. People that didn't have the same budget as Star Wars, but were trying to make Roger Corman movies, Dino De Laurentiis movies, things like that. And I love these movies for nostalgic reasons, but also there's something, again, I keep going back to tactile and volume, things that hold weight, catch light, and that you can reach out and touch. They exist in some way, even if they're models or if they're fully built robots, which we have. We have robots, we have model spaceships, we have all these cool things that happen. And I went back to movies. There's movies like Home Movies. My first cartoon is on DVD at Shout Factory. And Shout Factory, I've remained really good friends with those guys, and they have one of the coolest libraries of sci-fi and horror movies that you may have ever seen. And I went and perused their library, and I looked at so many different things. One of the movies was a movie called Message from Space, which is a Japanese-Italian co-production. And
so it's like a spaghetti space western.
Kind of. It kind of is.
Yeah.
It kind of is. Japanese and Japanese, too.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but Vic Morrow is in it, and it's got really interesting practical effects. And there was a shot in that I completely ripped off for the short film. And but those are the kinds of movies I was looking at. So they aren't the strongest story, but they have something really cool in the visual that affects me in an unconscious way.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool that you're doing this. Today I was on Reddit, and one of the top hits was somebody had just attached a cotton ball to a spaceship and broken the wing off of it, and they pulled the cotton ball out, stuck an LED in.
Yeah.
And it was one of the coolest explosion effects I've ever seen.
That's hilarious. It's ridiculous to see how things worked back, like in the early Spielberg practical, like Close Encounters world, or Star Wars, which was picking up on old technology but also amplifying it to a lot of degrees. But that stuff looks like the thing, and that's where that's where animation comes from. We have paper and voices, and we're getting people to buy into this character and these worlds. Metalocalypse the same way. It's just characters and people doing stupid voices, and we get to tell stories through that.
So if you had to choose between filmmaking, animation, and music, where would you land?
I don't know.
The Sophie's Choice.
I get bored easily. That's my thing. That's my problem. Is I don't want to do one thing. I always think of like Bert from Mary Poppins. Every day he's got a different job, and that guy's happy. He always looks happy in every single shot, you know? So that's what I think. And I don't know. I love guitar. I love music. And the whole entry point for me is through guitar. Like, I learned how to play guitar. I took it very seriously, and I figured if I can do this, then I can apply the same methodology of learning this to learning to do this other stuff.
Is there any form of creative expression that you're just like, I'm not going there? You know, because it seems like you're doing pretty much everything. You're not just dabbling in it. You are actually doing it.
Yeah, stuff. I don't know. Give me a list of some things that I may not do.
I'd throw out cooking.
Crafting.
Cooking and crafting. Those are two things I'm not as interested. I love eating, and I'm not a terrible cook. I can cook a couple things, but I'm not interested in making that. I'm not driven by passion. I'm driven by passion to eat, but not to cook.
Fair.
Yeah, crafting. Only for comedy. Only to do it in a terrible way. Only to fail at it as a funny idea.
I have a curious question for you. Of the characters in the Marvel Universe, you seem to be an expert on things metal, you know?
Yes.
Who screams metal to you?
Who screams metal? Well, I've always said I think the movie Thor, everyone should have flying Vs. I think all the characters should have guitars and not use them, just kind of gesture with them every once in a while. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think I'd like to see the Hulk in a mosh pit. I think that'd be fun.
Oh, he would literally smash it.
Yeah, he would smash it. Give me some other ones. Metal. Metal is brutality. Brutality. So who's the one that has the worst life?
Oh, man, who does?
Deadpool, maybe? I don't know.
Right?
He's got a pretty rough...
Well, I see here that you have a virtual death metal band named Death Clock.
Yes, I do.
Right.
You read that on the computer. Yeah.
It's true. I did, actually.
True,
yeah, right here. And this very similar to Deathlock.
Deathlock, yes.
Yeah.
That was, the spelling is different, and the word is different, and the characters are different.
Lock and Clock.
But Lock and Clock, they sound similar, so I'll give you that.
Word. He's partially metal, right?
He's partially metal. He is mostly metal, it's true. He's a cyborg.
I guess he is the most metal.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find you here at the con, and where can they find you online and all of your amazing projects?
You can find me here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Am I right about that, Nikhil? 3 p.m.?
There are people all around us here.
You'll find me somewhere around 3 or 3:30 at the Albatross booth here, 2207. And then if not, go to galacticon.com and check out this comic book. We're really excited about it. I love Eric Powell. He's a great dude. And the whole team, Steve Mannion, Marissa Louise, and Warren Montgomery, all collaborate. It was so much fun to work in this world. So thank you guys.